welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the process of writing from idea to script completion and how I get it done. So stay tuned. So this is going to be a really quick video because I just wanted to kind of run you through a process that I have from idea through script completion. I'm going to do it in a really succinct way. And I'm gonna take a little mini story that I just created about 5 minutes ago, really quick, to show you guys how I go from idea to script completion. And in this case, we're going to be talking about a little bug named Jody, because that's the story that I just wanted to create, and how he has to save the forest. Okay, so bear with me. The first step is research. So let's take some research on the subject. You got to read books, you got to watch some videos, you have to you have to know a little bit about the story that you want to tell. So in order to do that, you have to decide whether or not that story has already even been told and whether or not it's even out there in the world. And if it is out there in the world, what makes your story different? So start off by doing just research on whatever your general idea is. See what other narratives have come out about it already, and see what you are, how you can tweak it, make it different, make it better. And from there, start to lay the groundwork and foundation for the story that you want to tell. So we've decided that the example that we're using today is a bug named Jody. And Jody wants to save the forest, okay? So after we've done our research, the second thing that we need to do is we need to organize our story, which means we need to start thinking about some questions, right? So I got to figure out what the story is about. What's the story that I'm trying to tell? What are some of the themes I'm trying to tackle? Who are the main characters? What is this journey of this bug's life going to be about? Okay? So maybe we decide that Jody Bug is inferior and he wants to prove himself to the forest. So great. So we have a journey, we have an idea, we have a theme around resistance and resilience, right? So cool. All right, so then we got to figure out who the characters are working in tandem or against Jody Bug. So the next thing I have to do is I have to develop the characters around Jody Bug. So I'll do a character board for Jody Bug, talking about his main characteristics, what he likes, what his dislikes are, what he wants, what he hates. And I'll also have to do for, let's say, his best friend. Let's call his best friend Rudolph. And let's call his opposition, or the enemy bug who he's going up against, let's call the enemy bug Schmo. So on each of these character boards, I flesh out their characteristics, their wants, their needs, who they are, what family they came from. So we're fleshing out all these characters individually, and then we're going to try to tie them in with each other to see how they transform from start to finish. So the next thing I do is I plot out the character plot points. Basically, I break down the beats that each character is going to experience within a scene. I typically color code this using either index cards or, a Word document that I use to color code it. And I'm careful to kind of take into consideration the practical beats, like the actual action points, as well as the emotional beats, like what is driving the character. And I'll give you guys an example. I'll read it for you. So this may look like, so Jody sits in the forest eating grass. Rudolph walks in and tells him about a competition to become the head bug of the forest. Jody hasn't been the most athletic and he isn't sure he wants to do it. Rudolph tries to persuade him. Schmo, the larger, more superior bug, enters and tells Jody he would never win anyway because Jody's too puny. So this sparks the initial competition between them. This is the emotional beat and feeling inferior. Jody decides he's got to do it. So in that paragraph, you have each of the characters color-coded and their action, but you're also taking into account the emotional drive of the story. And I do this for each scene until each act is complete. So from those beats, I do a more developed outline. And in the outline, it has more of the tension and the turns within the story. So this is what it could sound like. Jody sits in the forest eating grass. He's not in the best spirits because his father just passed away. Rudolph walks in and tells him about a competition to become the head bug of the forest, an honor that Jody's father held for years. Sad, Jody hasn't been the most athletic and he isn't sure he wants to do it, but he wants to honor his father's memory in some way. Rudolph tries to persuade him by telling him that he can push through the sadness and become a new bug if he applies himself. Schmo, The larger, more superior, and arrogant Bug enters. He's won the competition for many years and tells Jody he would never win anyway because he's too puny. He hates Jody and he wants to keep his status. This sparks the initial competition between them, the emotional beat and the feeling of being inferior. And Jody, who's angered and tired of being the weaker Bug, decides that he's got to do it. Rudolph and Jody decide they need to train, which involves overcoming a host of different challenges that will test their mental and their physical strength. And so from there, you kind of get the immediate idea of what this struggle that this Bug is about to deal with. And that becomes really like the crux of the story. You learn his direct enemy, and you learn like the emotional and possible outcomes and consequences that happen if he doesn't succeed. So I do this throughout the entire outline, and that outline gets fleshed out even more to become a script. And so that's a very, very small look in my writing process using Jody Bug, Rudolph, and Schmo. But, you know, essentially all you're trying to do is you're trying to map out the story. So you're trying to map out the characters, the plot, the tension, what is driving these characters, and what is the journey that these characters are trying to get through or overcome. You know, and you'll see there's a specific formula in most of these videos and most of these movies where you'll know in the first 5 minutes what the conflict is and what the main characters are trying to attain. And throughout the movie, you're going to have the A story, the B story, the C story, all which is going to fall into a larger plot, which helps all of the main characters transform from the beginning to the end. And that's typically kind of the formula. Like, you'll see it in really every movie, Disney movies, action movies. You know, you'll know within the first 5 to 10 minutes who the main characters are and what they're trying to get. So, you know, use that kind of, that small nugget, and you'll flesh that out into a larger script. And of course, I'll do another video that is a super detailed, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of a quick glimpse of what the writing process is like for me. And I know that's I'm a little all over the place, but the main parts are find the story that you want to tell, research that story, organize your thoughts, figure out the theme, the characters, the journey, what you're trying to say with this script. Then start doing a plot by plot, beat by beat outline with the characters. Color code them on index cards or Microsoft Word or however you best organize your brain. Interweave those together. Once you interweave those together, you'll see the story come to life. And then you'll be able to pull out not just the action plots, but also the emotional beats within the story. Pull those out, flesh them out more into a more detailed outline, and then flesh that out into a larger script. And so then you will have your story of Jody Bug saving the forest. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that if you're going from home to Hollywood, you know you got this.